they call it a hook. Every social media post should have some type of hook. You don't want to overdo it and put out clickbaity types of content. But essentially on LinkedIn, every post, and this is especially text posts, when they're too long, there is a section that says see more. So you'll have a part of your post show up, maybe 3 or 4 lines, it'll say see more. That part of your post is so critical in getting the attention of somebody who's scrolling through LinkedIn. Like, if you've used LinkedIn, you scroll through it and you see occasionally like some text that maybe captures your attention. You want to write that part in a way that grabs someone's attention, but not in an overly clickbaity way. You don't want to shock people into pausing and hitting the see more button. But at the same time, you don't want to make it so dull that they just scroll on by. Elements of a good hook to grab attention include maybe summarizing what theme you'll be talking about in the rest of your post. That way it gives people a guidepost for understanding what you're going to say. Others include maybe providing a bit of a story that grabs someone's attention, but will interest them enough to click the see more and read the rest of the story at the bottom. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but the key focus is always make sure that what you put in the hook stands out and captures people's attentions without doing it in a cheap way, and then almost previewing what you're going to write in the rest of your post.
It's funny with emojis. I don't personally use them a lot, but what I have found, especially recently, is I've started using them, especially if it's something that like really relates. So if you can come across like, let's say you're sharing a post from your personal account or your company's account that is talking about like, a judicial ruling, you might be able to incorporate a gavel emoji or like a courthouse emoji. I find that those sometimes will catch a user's eye when they're scrolling down a news feed, especially if your post does not already include like a graphic or image in it. If it's just text based, then you definitely need to sort of differentiate that post from the other posts that are being surfaced on the news feed. So by incorporating those hashtags, it may make your post stand out a little bit more. Don't go too crazy by including like 15 different emojis in it. I think one or two will probably help diversify that post. And I've been seeing a lot more law firms in particular. I don't know who started it. I've been doing it for a little while now, but I have come across a few more that have started incorporating them into their posts. Yourself, if your eye catches something and it's like full text and it says see more, are you really going to stop to look at that post? So what I usually recommend is leading with whether it be a sentence or two, and then doing a paragraph break. So keeping those paragraphs to, no more than 2 to 3 sentences in length, but the first one being 1 to 2 sentences. And then from there, just having those 2 to 3 sentence paragraph blocks. But if you're going to have something that's more than, let's say, 3 or 4 paragraphs in length, you may actually want to consider is drafting a LinkedIn article. And there's a ton of benefits to sharing or creating LinkedIn articles, and the main one is that they're actually searchable by search engines. So, and that's because an independent sort of landing page is created for that article. So, as opposed to posts which aren't searchable by the search engines. So if you have, a post that's going to be a little bit more deep, deep in its nature and background, you may want to, if you have a lot to say in it, you may want to actually take advantage of that LinkedIn article, because again, it's sort of like taking the load off of like having everything be carried in the post format, but it's also going to help surface it by or discoverable by search engines. So that's something to consider. And then also what I say is when you can take advantage of including multimedia items, whether it be a static graphic, or it could be like an audiogram or video, those obviously are more likely to catch someone's attention when they're scrolling down their news feeds.